Okay, fantastic. Yeah, sorry. So I'm presenting the Royal Client's Autonomous House, and just letting you know that this house was built in the Gulidjan Country. So this presentation is structured under context, concept, design, layout, structure, and sustainability. So before starting any project, obviously we do some research, and in this instance here we had tapping as well even more in Indigenous history, colonial history. This is one of the existing houses that was on site that now became ruins, and it was really important to connect to these ruins and even repurpose these scattered stones. And you can see we kept this connection from outside and inside, bringing these scattered stone inside as a support for the stairs and keeping a continuity in history. One of the biggest inspiration as well was the Barabool Hills, which was as well reflected in the ondulation of the landscaping. The pavilion were designed as well to emulate the boulders on the site. And as you can see from all sides, it was very important to introduce an element of playfulness. The client contacted me after 12 years after designing their house in Melbourne, and now they had 3 active boys. And it was very important to cater for their use in the house. So this is like basically their pavilion, where on the ground floor they can study and play, and they can climb up to their rooms. The client is yet to put the net and all the climbing gear. So after doing some research, we started obviously in site analysis, identifying orientation, wind, etc. One room was left from the existing house. So basically I took this room as 2 lines as a grid, and then tessellated it to capture more views, and at the same time, in a symbolic way, to really like as a leap between the old and the new. As you drive up the driveway surrounded by trees, you come to the entrance, and as soon as you enter, you have mirror that reflect the nature behind you, and that in the same time it hides the clock cupboards. The main pavilion hosts the living area, and it's all connected to the kitchen and needs area where you can still have a connection with the ruins and the views. This is the kids' quarter here. These are the mirrors I was talking about. So as soon as you enter, you're almost surrounded by everything around you. This is a pavilion for the kids, so it's really creating as well for the future, if they're going to be having parties, so you have connection on both sides, so they can entertain as well in that space. Everything kept, was kept as well. The palette was creating something a bit more warm and really quite functional inside, within the same time connection all the time to the ruins and to the views. Upstairs, we have a study that overlooked the main area, and then we have the parents completely in one pavilion, the kids in another, the guests as well in the front, and the little mezzanine where one of my clients, it's almost like he calls it like it's his cave. This is basically the study. The clients were very active in the whole project, so they were able to resource as well from other sites, some tiles and some materials. And the method of construction was extremely important in this project. So after really laying down the slab, which was done in a way using less concrete by having these slanted walls, we erected basically the portals, and then the CLT was covering the walls, the roof, and the floors. Design for manufacture and assembly really proved to be an excellent way to go about this project, because it was cost and time effective, and with minimal waste as well, and less embodied energy even in transportation. It was important as well with the choice of timber to sequester carbon. This is how the portals were erected on the concrete slab. And we worked very closely with the structural engineer, the supplier, and the contractors and the builder on site, making sure as well that everything ran really smoothly. Everything was worked to the last detail. Of course, sustainability is not something you add on. It's something that's integral in every project we do. Starting with the first passive design principle, the solar geometry, running daylight simulation, capturing not only the north light, but in the words of my client, The light throughout day, night, and season further connect us to the outdoors. These are their images. We ran actually a wind simulation early on Rhino, and it really confirmed that during a cluster of pavilion was able to disrupt a little bit the turbulence of the wind, which is really strong up there. But in the same time, making sure we have a lot of breezes, a lot of cross and stack ventilation. Building with CLT covered with BIR really proved to create a great building envelope with very high R insulation. It avoided thermal bridging, it created great air tightness as well. The material were all inspired by what the kids collected on the site. So the whole palette color was basically inspired by this. Many of the material were used raw without even sealing or anything, especially like the timber. The choice for metal cladding was to gain from this effect of shimmering that reflects on nature and within the light as well. We were very impressed when we visited the client a few months ago, saying that they were using only the fireplace to heat the whole house, even though we had provision for 2 ACs in 2 pavilions, which is powered by, actually, it's completely off the grid, the whole project. So it's powered by a photovoltaic panel that produces 30 kilowatt. And we have like a backup generator that, according to the client, use it just for about 20 minutes once a year in winter. Harvesting water in 80,000 liter tank and reusing and recycling this water in grey water and so on. In the same time, it's 90 acre the land, it's a farm, so we have 3 existing dams as well for irrigation.
1 minute remaining.
Okay, biophilic design was integrated in the project, not only as visual to the outside, but bringing everything inside, not only bringing nature as like just greening, it's as well with the pattern, with the other material and so on. The client planted, with the assistance of land care, over 2,500 trees before we started the building, to sequester more carbon and to offset even any small use of the generator. The planting is still continuing, and this is my client driving on overlooking the Barabool Hills. And thank you very much for listening.